Well, hey out there, fellow gardeners and beekeepers, it's Kathy of the Neighborhood Gardening. So I haven't done a update on my bees in probably about a month and a half. I learned a really hard lesson. I had to deal with Varroa mite taking down like my 3 main colonies. And from what I have figured out, by backtracking and seeing what I've done and talking to other beekeepers, apparently what had happened was I had my 3 main hives that had been treated for Varroa mite, and I did not do a repeat count on the mite load after the treatment was finished. That was mistake number 1. And then I brought in a hive of a cutout that I had gone on, brought new bees into my same main apiary. And I believe what had happened was these new bees had infected my already main hive that had been treated. I did treat the new cutout that I brought in, but they were not all being treated at the same time, which left my main hives susceptible to the Varroa mite. And everything was looking great. I did my weekly inspections until I went out there in the middle of November for an inspection, and I just found thousands of bees all dead. It seemed like it happened like that, but maybe my assessment skills weren't that great. I'm still working on that, but it just seemed to happen really quickly. So anyway, I videotaped it all, and it took me a while to edit that video. So I'm hoping you can learn from it. Maybe it will help somebody out there who is new to beekeeping as well. So the plan now is I will rebuild. I have a small separate apiary that I call my nuke apiary. I actually have a full 10 frame deep brood and a medium brood, and then I also have a 5 frame nuke out there that also has a deep and a medium brood. Those bees are doing wonderful. They're thriving. The queens are just really doing well. And so I'm hoping in the spring, which is right around the corner, I'll be able to split and get my main apiary back up to speed. Anyway, I just want to share the video with you, and I hope it helps you in some way to learn from my mistakes. That's why we all talk to each other and network, right? So here's the video. I appreciate you watching. So this is what it looked like in October and November. And this is what it looks like now. So you can see right here out in front of my main hives. If you look on the ground, that's all mulched out, and this is kind of what I walked out to. If you get a little closer look, you can kind of see the bees all over, dead bees. Some were just struggling like this little girl, and it just it was just shocking to see. It was the entire length of in front of these main hives, just thousands of dead bees, dying bees. Some looked like they were seizing, just struggling. You can see on this area here on top of the hose, they were just stunned, just not moving at all. It was just a devastating sight. When I looked up on the landing boards, you can kind of see the bees, the dead bees that they tried to drag out. And it was just so sad to see those bees dead and struggling like that. And even worse, once I got inside the hives, to see just the magnitude of how many dead bees were just like a couple inches thick inside once I was able to get in and clean this area out. Again, just destruction of the Varroa mite was just awful, that ravaged these hives and these poor little dead bees. Okay, well, this is not a good day, but we got to do it. Got to get started. So what I'm going to do first of all is I'm going to do the cottage hive first. And what I'm going to be looking for in this hive is to see, first and foremost, has my queen been affected? I want to look to see if there's any eggs. The best I can tell, this happened within the last 3 days maybe. I was out here about 3-4 days ago maybe, and everything seemed to be okay. And then I found all the dead bees yesterday and came out today, and at the entrance they've drug a lot more dead bees out. So I'm going to start with just kind of cleaning that entrance off, and then I'm going to do a good thorough hive inspection and also do a mite wash just to make sure what my mite load is. I need to get these girls back to health and strengthen their hive up again, and hopefully they'll survive. But anyway, let's get started. I'm gonna take you along with me, and we'll learn a really hard lesson and get through this. All right, so this is the front of the cottage hive. There's literally not really even any guards coming out after me right now, but you can kind of see those bees just struggling right there, and then the dead bees. So they're still dragging bees out. Just gonna try to brush off what's there. That just hurts my heart to see all these dead bees. It's just really sad. I don't know what the right thing to do here is other than just clean it off, go in and see how they're inside. You can see how that little girl is just struggling there. So I just need to get in here and assess. So, all right, let's get in this hive and see what we see. Okie doke. So I can see the frames down in here. I see a lot of bees in there. I see a lot of dead bees and still struggling, but just gonna get in and we gotta do what we gotta do, right? We'll mourn later. Right now it's all business. Let's just see what we got in here. So this is the medium brood box. One of the things that I'm noticing as I've picked up each of these frames, maybe you'll see it here, I'm seeing a little bit of brood, and I did see some eggs. So the queen's in there. They look like 1-day-old eggs. I don't know if this has affected her, but as I pick these frames up, bees are just dropping off. I don't know if you can see that or not, but they're just too weak to even hold on. So it's a good possibility I could lose this whole hive. All right, let's just keep moving. Keep moving, hope for the best, right? You gotta have hope, can't give up hope. We give up our hope, we give up, right? You just gotta press on and think positive. So this is another frame, a lot of brood on here. Still seeing a lot of drones in here. A lot of dead bees kind of hanging off the side. These bees will drag their own dead out. Well, I'm in this bottom frame and I actually spotted a queen. So the queen is alive, but I'm gonna give you a shot at what it looks like underneath here, because the bottom of the hive is nothing but dead bees. So let me see if I can get this down there. Queen is in here, she's moving, and I want to clean the bottom of that out. So I'm gonna be very gentle. And if you look at that, that is solid dead bees. There's a few still in there struggling. Oh, look at that. Thousands upon thousands of dead bees in there. If you can get a better look. I'm just gonna brush them off into here. Look at that. I hate to even show this, but you need to see, even guess how many thousands and thousands of bees. They were trying to drag all these bees out, so at least this will help them a bit. It's a devastating lesson to learn, but I guess in the end, I'm hoping it'll be a good lesson for me, for everybody out there. All right, look at that. And this is only the first hive. So sad. They're everywhere on here. So hopefully the queen is not going to be affected. No guarantee. It could come out here in a week and she could be dead, or even a couple more days. So I'm going to leave the large entrance only because I'm going to put a feeder on there. So let's put this back. So what I have here, still got a dead bee there. Make sure my queen is not there. So what happens is when the hives are weakened like this, they actually are not strong enough to defend against other things like small hive beetles. All right, so I want these bees that have brood on them, and I gotta take some of these bees, unfortunately. Not gonna go anywhere. I've gotta get at least a half a cup. Hopefully they won't fly out of there. Let's do this. Full cup, half a cup of bees, and I've got to do an alcohol wash. Now that is going to kill about 300 of my bees, and I hate to take it that they are already down in there, already down bees, but I just want to test and see what the mite load is on this. So I'm going to take that. Terrible, but you got to do it for the good of the colony. So I'm just going to shake that up. Put these bees back in here. Keep shaking that. All right, so I'm still just shaking this up really good. And then what you do with that, this is shaking the mites off of these bees. And then I'm going to switch lids. I shook it up really good, maybe just a little more. I want to make sure. And then I'm going to dump it, put this lid on, and dump it in this white bowl so I can see a mite load, and then I'll take pictures of that, and then I can see my mite load. Absolutely hated to do that, but like I said, it's for the good of the colony. I need to get a handle on what is going on, make sure they start out healthy. So this has a screen netting on it. So what I'm going to do with this, I'm going to just pull this down here, and then you just dump it over, and you shake it in here. Oh my gosh, that's quite a mite load in there. You can see that, but there's a lot of mites in there. Those little red dots, I can't really tilt it, but I'll take a picture and put it on there. I'm counting the result of a high mite load. I'm just gonna go ahead and stay on top of the mite wash and the treatments. I did put Apivar strips in there and treat them. I'm going to put my solid bottom boards in, and then what I will do is in about 3 days I'm going to take those solid boards out, look to see if they are dropping mites on that board so I know that the strips are working, and then I will do another mite wash after the 42 days, and if needed I'll just have to treat with a different type of a chemical to make sure that these mites are gone. Anyway, really a hard lesson to learn. So thanks for watching. I hope you got something out of it.